So good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me on a Sunday. Today's project is going to be the A2 size card box. I have one that's prepped, but as per normal, I'm going to go through all of the measurements and cutting instructions so you can make this very simple box. I was very successful. I made these for a craft fair. I'm going to try that again, Sandy. I made these for a craft fair, and I made a total of 6, and I sold out. When you're finished with the box, you can put A2 size cards in it, and it will hold 4 cards in envelopes very, very simply. It will probably hold more. Okay. So I like to make these with the top and the bottom to be different colors, and the reason for that is I decorate the face of the box with what's on the inside. So if I make a set of 4 cards, I make a panel so the box looks like the cards, basically. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. So to make this, you're going to need a couple sheets of cardstock, a stamp, and your decoration. It's pretty simple. So to start with, I'm going to take a piece of 8.5 by 11. This is, I'll just give you the colors here. This is all Fun Stampers Journey cardstock. This happens to be oatmeal cookie. This is something called Pool Play, and this is the whipped cream. Really liking working with that stuff. So those of you that are making notes, your measurements, it's very, very simple to make. For your base of your box, you're going to need to cut a piece that's 7 3/4 by 9. So once again, that's 7 3/4. Turn it and then by 9. Now this one we're going to score at 1.5 on all 4 sides, but I'm going to do all my cutting and my scoring together. For the top, you need a piece that is 6 7/8. Six and 7/8 by 8 1/8. By 8 1/8. Okay, so just to review those two measurements, your base is going to be 7 3/4 by 9. Your lid is going to be 6 7/8 by 8 1/8. Okay, and we'll do our scoring in just a minute. As I said, I like to decorate the panel, the top panel, as the card would be decorated. So it's just 2 layers. So in this case, to make it fit with a 1/4 inch margin, I'm going to go 5 3/4 by 4 3/4. And then for my image layer, good morning, Jamie, I'm going to do 4.5 by 5.5. So first off, we'll make it easy. Okay. All right, so now you have your pieces. Okay, so you can use your cutter or a scoring tool or what have you. This is probably the most important part of the project, how you go about scoring it, otherwise it will not match up, and that is annoying. So we want to make sure that and it took me several tries to remember what I was trying to do. And I'm looking for my bone folder. Oh, here we go. Okay, so on your base of your box, you want to score this at 1.5 on all 4 sides. So 1.5. Okay, I know it's hard to see, but it's there. On the top of your box, what your lid is going to be, you want to score that at 1 inch. All 4 sides. Okay, put your scoring tool away. Then you just need a pair of scissors. Small snips is fine. And then I do it on the long side. I'll just wait for the camera to focus. And I'm just going to take a snip. I have to tip it. You can get fancy if you want to, and I don't feel it's necessary. You're just going to cut up that score line up to where the score lines intersect on both pieces. Good morning, Eileen. Hope you had a great birthday. Okay, so when you're all finished, excuse me, my back is itching. Okay, can you see that? So we have a score line, and then what I find is easiest to do is to place my tape while it's flat. So I just go, and I have some white liner tape here. This is a 2-piece box. I know there's lots of recipes out there on how to make it. Yay! I'm very glad to hear that. I had seen that things had gone out. So Sandy, that means that I should be receiving yours pretty quickly. So you got it on your birthday? Oh, that's cool. Had I known it was your birthday. Yeah, I had a very busy day yesterday. We attended a funeral in the morning for a friend of ours. And then on Friday I made 19 bottles of Irish cream. I did it at work, utilizing the kitchen, which was so much easier. And then Friday night I made my salted caramel sauce. And then yesterday I'm on this clean out my closet mission. So I got a good dent done in that. And then I also made some jalapeno pepper jelly. Okay, so you've got your tape applied, right? Can you see that? So then all you're going to do is just literally crease all your folds. And I just do it like this. Make sure you get your little tabbies too. It is the A2 card box, Eileen. So that's the base creased. Yeah, and you want to flip it over so your tape goes on the interior. Almost made a boo-boo there. Yes, you do. But these are the ones that I made for the holiday fair for Habitat that were very popular. Okay, then starting with the base. This is all I do. I pull the tape and I pull my tape all at once, or at least on one side, because I find that when you fold it, it's difficult. So then you just line up the edges. And then once again, line up the edges. Okay, so that's your base. Very simple. It's easy to do. And then we do the same thing for the top. Okay. Okay. So then, you know, your cards and your envelopes would go inside, and then that is what you get. I like that the bottom is a different color than the top. I just think it makes it classy looking. And then what I do when I go through this is I cut an additional layer, and then I'm going to trim this another quarter of an inch. But so it'll look like the card that I intend to make. So simple, simple. And then you can just put a ribbon or whatever. So, yeah. I think it'll be fine. So to go over those measurements one more time, you start with your base piece, and that needs to be 7 3/4 by 9, and then you score it at 1 1/2 on all 4 sides. Okay? Your top needs to be 6 7/8 by 8 1/8, and you score it at 1 inch on all 4 sides. And then you just cut your little slits, and then you've got create your box. It's very simple. Okay, so we've got our base layer, and now all we need is an image. And I think my favorite, it's been a favorite of mine, is this Winter Wonderland set. I love that cabin, and it's just so easy, and I've done it so many times now. So I think we're going to go with that. And so we got the cabin, we got the tree. What does that say? Winter Wonderland. It's a simple one. It's very, very simple. Okay, so let me get some blocks. So what I start with is the tree. I don't know why, but I do. And then we're going to grab some ink. Milk cookie, pool play, and then I have a brown that I like. Cocoa powder, and then the green. Okay. So starting with the green olive, True Color Fusion ink. And I have my grid paper down to protect my mat. I like to kind of, actually I don't start with the tree. I'm such a fibber. I start with the cabin. And I have been doing the cabin in cocoa powder. You could do it in oatmeal cookie, you could do it in, actually, you know what? No, let's do it in the lighter so it matches what we're doing. So I take the oatmeal cookie, which is kind of like a craft color ink, which I'm really liking. And I kind of get my placement. So I kind of come over here to the middle. The reason being is I want to tuck a tree in there. And I kind of need to give myself enough room. And I go almost, I think in some I'm going to the top. Yeah, I have. Okay, so we're going to stamp that. Okay. Let me just get rid of that green. I don't think that's going to match our composition. And then I'm going to do the tree again, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to kind of look where that fence ends. So I've got so far. My camera is all screwed up, I'm sorry. Alright. And then I like another tree over here. And I just kind of like it going off the page. So then there's your kind of your composition. And just that quickly you can get a scene, you know. And then what I like to do is I just take a 2-way glue pen. It is pretty. I do like it a lot. And you all know how I love a reindeer. And I think that was the original attraction for this. And you can go as dimensional as you want with this little project, but so this says Christmas wishes. We just kind of want to get that going. Not all that straight, but that's okay. And then what I've been doing is I've been taking, in some that I don't want to have that additional dimension, I take a Uniball Signo white pen and I go over the snow. But in others where I do want to have, I have an old Stampin' Up! 2-way glue pen. You could do it with any kind of glue that you have, maybe a Tombow, where you could use your Wink of Stella and just go right over this. I really like this Journey Sparkle. It's just extra fine glitter. So I'm just kind of putting the glue down where I want it, and I want it all over the roof and on the trees. And you guys have seen me use this set a lot. But I love that. I love a stamp set that you just can't get enough of, that you use a lot of, you use many times and in many ways. Okay, so we've got our glue. Just kind of want to tip it in the light. Yep, got a ton of glue. And then I just want to get a little bit of computer paper. Thanks, Sandy. It is a cool box. It's an easy one to do. And I like to give credit to where I see things, and I think the original idea for this box I might have gotten from Beata at Split Coast Stampers, so you know, she's fab. Let's put this back in the jar. I gotta sneeze. And then there, I'll lift it up so you guys can see. This Journey Sparkle stuff, this glitter, it gets everywhere. I mean, and I have not found the secret other than a dry paintbrush to kind of like, you know, wipe away so that's just one color of ink. Yeah, I've had it dry, Eileen. So there you go. So that's one color of ink, one stamp set. It's so super easy to do. And then what you could do is mount that right on the top. And if you wanted something extra, like, you know, you do need to kind of secure the box. So I've been doing that just by tying a ribbon around it. Pretty, 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 huh? And easy, easy, easy. So I'd recommend that you make some. You know, find the little yeah, it's great. I mean, you can, that's what I love about it. It's a quick gift. You can bust out 4 cards very easily, you know, make them birthday cards, make them whatever, you know. And here, unfortunately, lately, I have been needing sympathy cards. And I absolutely can't stand that I need sympathy cards, but, you know, I never have them. I guess it's just something you don't want to have prepared because you don't want to think about, you know, the reason behind it. So I would say if you're making card sets, you know, go ahead and include a sympathy card. It's something that nobody really wants to have, but oftentimes they need. Yeah, unfortunately, we've lost 2 key people from our life in the last 2 weeks. Pretty, pretty, pretty. I like it. So I just like to give that glitter a minute to kind of like settle. Oh, so sad. So sad. I think yesterday's was, you know, I mean, I lost my girlfriend from 6th grade, lost her dad 2 weeks ago, and I was very sad that I didn't get to go. I was all the way in Kentucky, and I couldn't get a flight. And, you know, but he was older and he had been sick. But he was just a great, great guy, you know, so that was very upsetting. And then, but yesterday was really tragic. Was a friend of ours, 51 years old, contracted leukemia in the last year. And he was just a very vibrant guy, very, very, very happy, and just way too soon, way too soon. You know, on the one hand, I'm very glad that he didn't have to, he didn't suffer, you know, very long. So I'm grateful for that. But on the other hand, it's just awful. So there you go. Yeah, we learned that he had lost his mother to leukemia. So it's just terrible stuff. So I'm very, very saddened by that. And, you know, at such a young age. So there you go. That's the box. Now I need to make some cards to go in it. So did anybody miss the measurements or need them? I'm happy to go over them again. And I have another one pre-cut, so I did record. Okay, so your base of your box is going to be 7 3/4 by 9. 7 3/4 by 9, scored at 1.5. The lid of your box is going to be 6 7/8 by 8 1/8. So 6 7/8 by 8 1/8. Scored at 1. Then you just cut your slit marks. I do it on the long side up to the intersection. And then I add my tape. And I fold it over. No. 7 3/4 by 9, scored at 1.5 inches. Not a half, 1.5. If you do it at a half, you'll be sorry. I think I did. Okay, and then just 1.5, 1.5. I'm sorry to hear you were sick, Marie. I hope you're feeling much better. So it's 1.5 for the base and 1 for the top. I'm going to do another version of that card. Yep. Okay. And then you just I kind of leave my finger there so I can feel it meet if I can't see it. Okay, I'm going to fold this one up. And I just go, oh, and you got to flip it inside out so your tape goes the right way. Glad I caught that. And then I just go okay. I mean, you can make these really quick if you keep them simple. Me, on the other hand, I find that difficult. And I'll tell you, last week I thought, oh, okay, I have a lot to do. I'll make some die cuts, and then I'll just, die cut all the stuff for the cards, and That'll be simple. Well, I did the Saint Nick face from Tim Holtz, and I did 5 of them. One for the front, 4 for the cards. It took me 4 hours. Each piece of that sucker is 13 pieces. So there you go. This is our layer piece. And then this is going to be our image piece. Now, I want to caution you. These layer pieces and image pieces are much, much bigger than the size of a regular card. So you want to make your box and then you want to measure so that you get the right size. Okay, so I'm going to come in with the oatmeal cookie ink once more. And again, I kind of like it with a lot of room at the bottom. So there's our cabin. Now we're going to put our trees in. And before we glitter it, I'm just going to put my little sentiment in here. So that's pretty much the same card as the one I just did. What I wanted to show you was how you can change it with just a little bit of ink. What did I do with it? Okay, so you're probably wondering why I chose these colors. Well, the Pool Play ink is what I put in for the sky. So I just have a piece of a sponge. I'm just going to take some right off the pad. And then I'm just going to kind of come in to the roof line and in between the trees. And you can put this on as dark or as light as you wish. I do kind of like a little bit of a halo around. This is Fun Stampers Journey ink. It's True Color Fusion. It's a mix between dye and pigment ink, so it has the vibrancy of a pigment ink, but the color, fastness of a dye ink, so it dries very quickly. So there you go. So there's your sky. I think that gives it a different kind of dimension. Let's let it focus just for a second. There you go. No, I was a little heavy-handed there in the middle, but that's okay. And then you can just do the same process with your glitter. Just a quick two-way glue pen type thing. And I always get kind of the outline. I do the whole roof, and then I kind of come and ground it a little bit. Some spots on the trees. Bring our little catch paper in. I do kind of like to get the base of the tree too. And then you just take that Journey Sparkle Dust. Dust is a good word for it because it's so fine. Now, I kind of wanted to show you something before I went ahead. Can you see the sky? Okay, it's got glitter all over it. The reason it has glitter all over it is because of the pigment quality of this ink. So if you don't want that, that is easily remedied with a dry paintbrush or allowing your piece to dry first. I don't think it's a bad look, it's just not what I was going for. So if you just do the spread of the glitter just like you saw me do, that's what's going to happen to you. It's going to be all over your cardstock. And I did not want that to be like, the showstopper of this piece. So I just I always have this little dry paintbrush kind of nearby. And I think it looks better when there's a contrast. You can emboss with it. Can you see the contrast now that I've taken it away? I happen to like that. Pretty, huh? You can emboss with a pigment ink. I will say it needs to be a really juicy impression so it really sticks. That's why I'm kind of curious to see if they come out with an embossing ink, which they have not yet. But we'll see. So there's two different takes on it. So let me just still try and be careful with the glitter. The glittered piece, because we don't want all that work just to come off. And then what I do when I don't want to handle something a whole lot, I just go to the opposite piece of cardstock and put my tape on it. And whoop. So there's the same image, same scene, two different takes on it, just by adding the colored ink. So what do you prefer? It's just one little extra step. And that's the side. Okay, guys? Yeah, makes a world of difference, doesn't it? In my opinion. Okay, today is probably going to be a quick show, only because I have about 1,000 things that I have to get going on. I have to make 50 snowman ornaments. You could pinch a half circle on two sides of the top to make it easier to open. Yeah, you could, but you could punch it on the side there. And I have to finish my snowman candy bars. Yeah, I'm not going to record it though. That's totally fine. So let me stop the recording and make some card boxes, guys. Thanks for stopping by. And if you're viewing this on YouTube, I normally have a show every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Ustream at Laurel from NJ. Thanks for watching. See you next time.